If you're a sports fan, make sure you go check out SportsCastr for all of your sports needs. Whether you're a football fan, basketball fan, or baseball fan, this app is the perfect way to get news for your team and is an app I personally use myself in case any of you guys want to check out my pregame, halftime, or postgame streams. I'll leave a link in the description below. What is up, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, I want to bring back a former Patriot, a guy that has really shined throughout this entire offseason, but was sadly released by the Patriots. That is a fan favorite in wide receiver Maurice Harris. And is there a chance that the New England Patriots bring him back, especially with all of the offensive issues that they are having? Before we hop into this one, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so that you get notified every time I post a new video. If you guys would like to grab some Patriots Global merch, there'll be a link in the description below for that. And just a friendly reminder that if you do send me a photo of you rocking your Patriots Global merch, then you will get a shout out on my next YouTube video. Now, Maurice Harris. Maurice Harris is a guy that the Patriots signed this past offseason, was one of the beginning signings here for the New England Patriots at the start of free agency, was really underlooked as a receiver. Nobody really thought that he was going to be anything. Everyone thought he was going to be more of a camp body, including myself. Then OTAs started, minicamp started, the start of training camp was a thing, and all you heard was Maurice Harris. Maurice Harris is a standout today. Maurice Harris making, the most plays. Maurice Harris has the most catches. Maurice Harris is making a connection with Tom Brady that we've never seen before. He was just making headline after headline after headline after headline, and it made perfect sense. Okay, the Patriots signed a wide receiver that really was a nobody. Everyone thought he was just going to be a camp body, and then he shows up and proves everybody wrong. I mean, why wouldn't he make the roster? He's a former Washington Redskin. He put up some respectable numbers. He made some pretty respectable plays also, but didn't do anything too crazy. Had some issues there with injuries. They had an option to use that fifth-year option on Maurice Harris, but the Redskins decided not to, and ultimately he hit free agency. Patriots picked him up. Now, to me, Maurice Harris was definitely a lock. He was definitely a lock to a lot of you others, too. I made a whole video basically saying how he was a lock. Some of you actually trolled me for that when he got cut. But the real reason that he got cut was for the sad reason that he started to get injured. And you started to hear a little bit less of Maurice Harris towards the end of training camp. And sadly, that did not help his case out either. Now, again, Maurice Harris was balling out all offseason. Then our first preseason came versus the Detroit Lions. Maurice Harris was playing in that game. He had some pretty nice catches. He had that one really nice touchdown grab there from Hoyer, that one-handed touchdown grab. And then you had those two long passes there from Stidham in which Maurice Harris was not able to actually bring in, which was another great thing about Maurice Harris, that he's a very short-handed wide receiver. He's cousins with a star wide receiver in the NFL, Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen actually really praised Maurice Harris for being such a short-handed wide receiver. Then you move on to the following week. The New England Patriots then go to Tennessee. They're having joint practice with the Tennessee Titans. And in, I believe, the first practice it was, in the joint practice with the Titans, Maurice Harris gets injured. Nobody really knows what happened. They know that his shoes were off, and he was taking a knee for the rest of the game. Didn't leave, but was taking a knee. And then later on, news came out that it was going to be a pretty significant injury. He was going to be out for a bit of time. And I guess to Bill Belichick, he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to place him on the injured reserve to start the season because his season would be over. Keep in mind, he was signed on just a one-year deal. And Bill Belichick would have wasted a roster spot originally to put him on the injured reserve if they wanted him to come out of the regular season. But even in that case, they would have had to waste one of their two IR designations. So really, when you're looking at all the facts, it just made more sense for Bill Belichick to release him and really kind of bet his odds, go on and try to add some more depth at the wide receiver position, especially when Josh Gordon came back. I think that, Bill Belichick was like, okay, I think that we can get past with our wide receivers. Jacoby Myers was starting to step up, so I think he was a little less worried about letting him go than, let's say, he would have been towards the beginning of the offseason. But now, we are currently in Week 5 of the NFL season, and the Patriots are beat up already, especially on offense. We look at how they played against the Buffalo Bills, and that offense was just horrendous. Wide receivers were not able to get open, and we do not want to have a repeat of the receiver issue that we had last season. And it's just insane to think about the issues that the Patriots have had with wide receiver. I mean, they start off with some pretty brutal guys, just having Gunnar Olszewski, Dontrell Inman, guys like that at wide receiver, and then all of a sudden they're boosting up here at wide receiver. You have N'Keal Harry, Demaryius Thomas, Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, best receiver core in the league. And then you look at, okay, the Patriots just traded Demaryius Thomas. The Patriots now let go of Antonio Brown. Josh Gordon got injured. Julian Edelman got injured. Holy frick. In my personal opinion, I think that New England will get it together as time goes on. Keep in mind, it is still the beginning of the season. They will get it together, but at this point, when you're also looking at the depth that New England has, it's not good, okay? If you have Julian Edelman go down and he's out for a while, you have Josh Gordon go down and he's out for a while, there really isn't guys that come in and step up that you're like, okay, I'm confident with that. I'm honest to God not comfortable saying, okay, Gunnar Olszewski and Jacoby Myers in this game, in a real NFL game against a top-notch defense. If we're talking, a Chiefs game or a Browns game, or we're talking about a Ravens game, and those are your starting receivers, you're going to have issues. So in my personal opinion, I really do think that the New England Patriots do need to add some help at wide receiver, whether that's waiting to have N'Keal Harry back, or if that's trading for a guy or adding a free agent, which Maurice Harris currently is. Now, the thing here about Maurice Harris is that the Patriots did release him with an injury designation, meaning that if the team wants to re-sign him, they would not be able to do so until I believe it was week 8. Any other team in the NFL could sign him right now if they wanted. Of course, he would have to be healthy if he's going to play. But because the New England Patriots are the team that released him with an injury, they would have to wait if they wanted to re-sign him. So that would definitely be the downside here to this, especially because by that point, you're talking about the New England Patriots being able to bring back first-round pick N'Keal Harry from injured reserve. Something to add, though, about Maurice Harris is that he was a guy that brought really good height. Okay, he's a young guy still, he's 26 years old, but he sits at 6'3". And at the time, the New England Patriots releasing a guy at 6'3" really was not such a big thing, okay? They had Josh Gordon, they had Jacoby Myers, they had Demaryius Thomas, they had these tall guys, but now you're looking at who they have, and the thing that they were doing all offseason, adding these very tall receivers, it started to kind of go down. And the idea was really great. It was a brilliant idea to try to do a different thing and add these tall receivers, but as time went on, those tall receivers just were not on the team anymore. So it would be a really great idea to have another guy come in, a wide receiver that knows the system, has a great connection with Tom Brady already as it is, so you're not worrying about, how long is it going to take for this connection to come back, but having a guy who can play in the middle of the field, having a guy who can play on the outside, but having a tall guy at that. Having these tall guys is going to make such a difference here in the NFL. We've seen it. If you're a smaller guy, chances are, if you don't have great attributes, it's going to be easier to cover you, as where if you're a tall guy, Brady is able to place that ball in a way that a defender will not be able to get to because you have a height advantage. In my whole honest 100% opinion, I think that it just depends on where the New England Patriots stand at that point of week 8 with the wide receiver position, okay? If they're okay, if Julian Edelman's okay, if Josh Gordon's okay, Philip Dorsett is okay, and you're talking about bringing back a guy like N'Keal Harry, then in all honesty, the chances of bringing back Maurice Harris probably are not very high. But if the New England Patriots are getting pretty beat up still, if they're still dealing with these injuries, if they really need some depth, if we're possibly looking at N'Keal Harry not being able to come back by that time, then I wouldn't be surprised to see the New England Patriots bring back a guy like Maurice Harris, again, because he has that great height. He did so well with the team. He has the connection with Brady. He knows the system. It would just make the most sense to bring a guy like that into the team than to, go out and make a big trade or to sign some guy in free agency that doesn't know the team. And also to add that there really is not that much good guys here still on the free agency market. But that is going to be it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on former Patriot wide receiver Maurice Harris? Would you guys like to see a reunion with him this season or even in the future? Let me know in the comments below. I really hope that this video helped you out, really made this whole thing a little bit more clarified, especially with the issues that the Patriots are having offensively, more specifically at wide receiver, and for those of you who asked me about Maurice Harris. Again, if you guys are not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, like this video if you not have already. It will really help me to continue to make videos just like this one in the future and at a more consistent basis. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows England Patriots global family. Other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.